Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are doing something kind of fun. I've noticed that my videos here on the channel have a bit of a negative vibe to them, me just complaining and cussing people out. So I thought today we would do something kind of fun, something kind of positive. And what that is I'm going to give my personal recommendations for people who haven't watched a boys love series before or have very little experience with it. Maybe they just only watched some series from the early 2010s. Maybe they only read some mangas, only seen a few animes. They're really not into the mix of it. And I want to give a list of shows you might consider starting with. Okay. Now, when I'm making this list, I'm going to pick 5 series from 5 different countries. We got the Philippines, South Korea, Thailand, Taiwan, and Japan. I'm going to pick a show from each of those countries and kind of explain why it'd be a good fit for someone just starting out. Now, I'm going to consider a lot of things. You guys are probably like, I should pick my favorite shows, and that's not what I'm doing. Some of these shows, like every show on this list, I do like a lot. There are one of my favorites, but I have to consider lots of things: people's attention span, the actual narrative, what time is being used, how it's being used, and everything like that. Because sometimes we get so enamored with the couple, and we get kind of like giddy about the couple that we ignore all the faults in the show, and we don't consider this could be boring. This is incoherent. This isn't, for someone who doesn't like childish antics. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have to really pick something that's going to be more universal and easy to digest, okay? But also they can comprehend, also they can kind of get behind. Now, if your favorite show is not on this list, don't take it personal. Let me know your list, your picks for the first starter boys love series for someone. Now, I really would love for you guys to give me an explanation of why you picked that show. Now, if you do tell me like, oh, I pick it because it's my favorite, it doesn't matter if the plot's crunchy, the production value is crunchy. Let me know that. I would want to know. I mean, I could honestly see a list and be like, okay, well, I see why you picked this. But sometimes I like an explanation because sometimes it don't make sense why you would pick that show. So let me know below. Now, if you guys want me to do a follow-up to this video, also let me know by giving the video a thumbs up. Also, subscribe and become a Patreon. Become a patron on Patreon. Linked below. I'm watching a bunch of different shows. Actually, after I film this, I will be filming. Let me see what shows I'm going to watch today, because I made a list of them. We're doing Sugar Boy Life. Never heard of that one. First Note of Love. Never heard of that one. I Saw You in My Dreams. I have heard of that one. I just haven't watched it yet. And there's going to be a fourth one. I don't know what it is. I'm thinking of doing another episode of Monster Next Door or Century of Love. I don't know yet. But these other 3 I'm going to do after this. I just got to figure out the fourth one. So become a patron to figure out which one that is. And with all that being said, let's get right into it. Okay, first up, we're going to start with the Philippines. And the show I picked was like in the movies. I have a hard time pronouncing the actual name, so I'm, saying the translation name like in the movies. This show is phenomenal. It's one of those rare shows where it's set in one location, which I've seen a few movies that are set in one location. They kind of serve. You think because they don't go anywhere, they're in a house, they're in one place the most of the time, that it wouldn't be interesting, or there's no like real story you can tell by not going anywhere else. But that's not true. This show proved that. Two apartment building, but 2 apartments in the building are the location and the outside of it. So they do move around, but like it's still in one place. This show was acted very well. I even befriended one of the main actors. He's so nice, Paolo. Cinematography is top tier. The show looks amazing. I do think that this show doesn't actually feel like a typical boys love, and what I mean is it feels more like a queer drama. And you're like, is that the same thing? It's not the same thing, and I'm not gonna get into why there's a difference, but this show might be a bit too real life, mature, all the things. And it might really fog your expectations of what a boys love series is, because I feel like this operates outside of that. However, it does have the optics of a boys love, and it's in that same category. So this is what I'm going to recommend. And you're probably asking yourself, why didn't you say Game Boys? Listen, 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 listen. I get it. We all love Game Boys. We do. I just don't think the average Joe would sit and like get their life to Game Boys the way we did, right? The tolerance we have for Game Boys. That one is more boys love series. Yes, it does have a good acting. It's very unique with its whole situation with it all mostly being video chats. You know what I mean? And the actors did their big one with that, like they really did it. But I don't think the whole set in a pandemic, the whole talking through video calls will really resonate or really kind of excite people or kind of keep people engaged. I could be wrong. I probably am wrong because I do like Game Boys. I just think that, objectively speaking, they would probably enjoy this show way more. But you guys let me know if I'm wrong. But I feel like this is a good starter. Like, get your feet wet. And actually, this probably be the first one. That's why it's first on my list. Um, on this video because I think it's be the first, if one you start at first, like the first show you see. Like start with this. Next up, we have South Korea, and I picked The New Employee. Now you're probably asking yourself again, why didn't you pick The Eighth Sense? You love that show. Yes, I think The Eighth Sense is the best Korean boy love series next to Blooming. Now I know people don't like Blooming like that, and I understand I'm like the only person that likes that show, but those two shows really gave what's supposed to have given. However, I think The New Employee is a good representation of what a boys love series is. Now, I do think it's a little, it does kind of operate outside the realm slightly, mostly because the characters are older. I think boys love likes to, it's always been the younger characters. We're getting high school, we're getting college, and then more recently we're getting workplace, but it's mostly right like during your college years or right after college years. You're maybe 25, you're an intern type of vibe, so it's not like you're a grown adult in the workspace. I mean, you are a grown adult, but you're not like almost 30. Everyone is younger. Now this show is giving a boss that's older, but our main character is younger, so that's the point of view we get in the show. Well, anyways, I think this is such a short series, so you can get through it in a day. The acting is really good. For some reason, I'm watching this show and I feel like I care about this boy's job. This is one of the rare workplace dramas where I care about the work. It's an ad agency. Like it's not even an exciting job, but I'm really into the mix of it. And the thing is, if our dating sim had more of that in that show, they do have a little bit, but we don't really get into that game aspect of that show, like making that game. So that's why I picked this one over that one, even though I do love me some our dating sim. Don't get it twisted, but it's more so because of the couple rather than the show. It's in its entirety, right? This one I like the couple and the show. The whole workplace stuff I like. The whole relationship with the boss, the whole thing with his friends. I think this was a well done series. One of my favorites, and I think someone can start off with a boys love marathon with this one. I think this would be a good like, okay, I get it, I ship it, I'm giddy, I'm interested. Like I feel like this just gives a good narrative, a good pacing that we were kind of just getting things done. Because boys loves tends to slog. So that's why I think even the shows that are a bit longer can slog, but I feel like they're a bit. I'm talking about the Korean ones at least. I feel like they still give a bit more of a narrative, even though they kind of like have to pace it out a bit more. Regardless, it's still good. The New Employee is the best one to start with from South Korea. Next up we have is Japan. This was so easy. I cannot reach you. I watched this show, and I instantly fell in love with it. It's a friends to lovers plot line. I think the episodes are like 25 minutes long, only 8 episodes, so it's not a long watch. You can watch it in a day. And I just feel like this is quintessential boys love territory without having all the baggage of lots of the bad negative things that do come from boys love. And what I mean is that one is shorter, so there's not a bunch of filler, right? We're not. It is a slice of life, so you might say like that's kind of filler like because it's just episodic stories. However, they're stories. They're telling a narrative, and they tie in the romance from the beginning and the end of the episode, and they have like the episodic things happening in between. So that's why I'm like, okay, it's really giving what the continued narrative is their romance, and it builds upon, at the beginning and end of each episode, and the things that happen during the episode kind of strengthen that bond, strengthen that growth of the narrative. Like we are not at the same place by episode 2, episode 3, episode. We're not in the same place romantically with our leads, which I love. I feel like sometimes we kind of stay stagnant for too long. We're like 4 episodes in and we ain't made no progress. I just can't stand that. But this show did that. Oh, they did it so well. They kept boom. They said boom. They said boom. I like the leads. I like the characters. I am biased towards pairings of the characters that are nice to each other. That does it for me every time. I'm really for us against the world type romances. It's just something that resonates with me. I know people like enemies to lovers. They love like an age gap. They love more taboo, more contentious relationships because it's like spicier. But that being your default, your fallback is a little like. And yeah, you might say friends to lovers kind of like too easy or not as exciting. Sure, buddy. I guess. However, that doesn't matter. This show will make you giddy. This show will make you just root for them. I was rooting for these fools. It felt like first love. It felt like, and even though the characters are in high school, I don't think even if you're an older person, your 30s or 40s, you can still watch this and be kind of like, oh, my heart is like. I'm very cynical when it comes to this stuff like this. Even I was like, oh my gosh, my heart is fluttering. Like I'm really into it with him. I think the actors did a good job. Honestly speaking, the actors really did a really, really good job with this. I like the supporting cast. They didn't have their own narrative. It was just about these two boys, but they were so present and they were actually supporting characters in the narrative. That was like, okay, yes, use these characters. Like, why have like a cast of 8, 9, 10, and then you use one time, 3 times, and that's it? No, let's use these characters. And I love how they did that. I think this is my favorite Japanese one. I'm so sorry. And like, if I had a top 10 list of favorite boys love series in general, this is clearly top 5. Like without a doubt. I know it's a newer show. I know it's newer, guys. I know, but it's still going to my top 5. I adore the show. I honestly, this should be the first show instead of Gaya being your first show to watch. This should be it, honestly, because it gives you typical boys love, high school, soft little romance. Like it gives you all that, right? It gives you the trope, right? But then it just makes you fall in love with what love could be, especially when your first love. It just makes you feel the things to feel. And I'll be here all day praising the show. I love it. This should be the first one y'all watch. Next up we have is Taiwan, and we have History 2 Crossing the Line. Now, I am a bit biased towards the show. I've seen it like maybe 10 times. I love it. I love the characters. I'm not the biggest fan of the cinematography. Looking back, it does seem a bit camcorder-y. But other than that, I think that this show, it kind of reminds me of I Cannot Reach You, but with the enemies to lovers trope. And it could use a bit more fleshing out of the characters. Like our main character, he wants to like do stuff for his mom, but we never meet the mom. We never really see his life before he came to this new school, and we just know he's a delinquent, and like there's some things that they could have done better, but given the time, I still think it still holds up. I think it still holds up to this day. You could watch this show and be like, oh, I think I might like Boys Love series after seeing this. You might be like, okay, this is maybe my jam. This romance, this situation I got going on here, I'm really in it to win it. Now, it does have that brother lover trope too with the other couple, so it's kind of like, ooh. But I don't think that's too bad. That's not too bad. Like, I personally don't care for that trope. Step brothers, actual brothers, anything with siblings busting down and being together, I'm not really jamming into that. This is tamed. Friends before they got parents got married and like but like y'all live together now, so I don't. It's not that bad. It is boys love, guys. So boys love gonna have uncomfortable tropes and cliches. That's one of them, but I think it's fine. It is fine. The actors did their big one. Back in the day, it was very rare to see the actors, the characters in the show actually kiss. For real, for real. We used to get those dead fish kisses. This is one of the shows that really said, no, ma'am. We're going the distance. We're actually going to do an actual kiss, actual make out. The boys will grow from being actual antagonistic rivals to each other to romantic ones, and you really can feel it. They really made me feel it. I just thought this show. I still think this show is so good. It is so good. I'm gonna have to recommend it all the time, every time. If you haven't seen a Boys Love series, I still think I Cannot Reach You should be the first one you start with. But right after you finish that, do this, because the other shows are not in high school. So like these would be the high school dramas you get done first. And you're like, okay, yes, 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 and then you'll get into like the the college era with Gaya and workplace with a new employee. So like those two are good starters before you get into the more mature settings of the other ones. So yeah. Okay, guys. Last but not least, I guess, yeah, not least. This was hard. It's not me. This is hard. I went through a list on blwatcher.com of the Thai dramas. Oh my gosh. I could not pick a show to save my life. The first show I thought of to pick was Not Me, but I was like, okay, Not Me is heavy, right? It is more mature, longer than any other show on this list. And I was like, okay, I need to, if it's your first time watching Boys Love, this may be too much of, But I was thinking like, well, all the shows are too much because of the runtime. They're usually about an hour long. 45 minutes to an hour and a half is the average time of these series, and they're like 12 episodes. So they're all lengthy. So there's no way getting around with that. You can't, they're all going to be long. So like, okay, well, that's fine. I'll take that out of consideration. First, I was like, do I do Secret Crush? I think, not Secret Crush, My Secret Love. I think I just like an ensemble cast, and that show gave ensemble cast, but also Not Me gave ensemble cast. Also, Moonlight Chicken gave ensemble cast. So I was kind of like, And I was thinking like, okay, Not Me has an actual narrative, multiple characters' points of views, a bunch of action, drama, suspense, romance. There's a bunch of busting down in the show. It really gave you everything you need in a drama. I just think that it's hard to put this on this list. It was hard for me to put this on this list because of it kind of operates outside of the realm of a boy's love. Because you don't even get to any type of romance stuff until like episode 7. So, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, it's like two boys fall in love. And that is the case, but there's more to the narrative than that, which is why I love it. That's why I love it. Like, give me the romance, but also give me other stuff for the characters to do, goals, oppositions. Give me all the things. Give me a storylines. Give me multiple storylines. Clashing with each other separately. I don't care. Give me the things to do with the characters as well as the romance, please. And this show did that. The production value was very great. A lot of my favorite actors from this company are in this. They are doing a good job. I couldn't recommend this enough. Like I know I was trying to like pick a softer series that's kind of like more cutesy or less dramatic and less intense than this. I couldn't in my heart of hearts recommend anything else but Not Me for Thailand. And I know you guys love Bad Buddy or Tales of a Thousand Stars. I just don't think those shows are that great. And I don't think that anyone's going to sit and watch those shows and being like, oh, okay, this is amazing. And no shade to those shows, for real. No shade to you if you love those shows. It just seems like there's a lot of stuff you ignore to enjoy those shows. There's lots of like filler stuff, lots of boring stuff that happens. Like nothing really, it's not really giving a consistent pacing. And you might say, not me, doesn't give that as well. But there's only a few times where I said the pacing was kind of crunchy. Like when they had those scenes where they're in the classroom talking, doing lectures. I'm like, damn, we were actually in class with them. But other than that, it really gave what it needs to give. But yeah, that's my list of starter boys love series. I'm very curious what you guys think of my list. Do you agree with this starter stuff? Do you agree with my reasoning not having shows that are too long? Or, like it's like, I know people love like Game Boys or what else we got here? Game Boy, Semantic Era. Um, what Japanese series that everyone loves? I don't even know. I don't even know. Unsung Love? Oh, I guess Cherry Magic would be a good one. And then from Taiwan, probably History 3 is everyone's favorite of all the histories. The Trapped, people love that one, so maybe that people will pick that one. And then with the Taiwan, there's like a million shows. I'm suspecting people. I expect people to pick like Tell Me 1,000 Stars, Bad Buddy. What else? What's another favorite? I also want to pick My School President because I love My School President. I just think I love My School President. I just think that second couple brings the show down. Like that's a weak narrative, weak showing of the second couple. And some episodes were a bit fillery, especially towards the end. Like that one episode where they were like on that trip and they were outside talking, but then they're outside talking again, but they're still outside talking. I'm like, oh my god, can we get past this? I like Last Twilight too, but that show was boring as hell. But I love that show, but like a slog at times. Well, anyways, I'm going on a tangent. Let me know your thoughts below on this list. Let me know your actual list that you have going on, and I will see y'all in the next video.